Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedAlliance, and today I'm doing another deck profile, but this one's going to be a little bit different, and I know I say that a lot, but this one really is going to be a little different. This one's not even my deck. This one is my girlfriend's deck, and she asked me to do the profile of this for her. And the interesting thing is she told me the only condition is that I had to use her mat. And this is her mat that she plays on, and if she doesn't play on this one, she plays on a Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon mat. But this is her newest mat, and she wanted me to showcase it, as it's awesome. I think she has better taste in mats than me, guys. I really do. But without further ado, let's get on into this. And today, we're going to be deck profiling Fluffals. She is in love with this deck. I think it's adorable, and I'm amazed this is actually meta. And she's probably going to kick my ass when she sees this, but hey, whatever. So first off, we play 3 copies of Fluffal Dog. Fluffal Dog lets you search out either a Fluffal monster when it's normal summoned or an Imp Edge Saber. You can only use its effect once per turn, but it's essentially a Stratos for the deck if you've ever played Heroes or played against Heroes. Then we play 3 copies of Fluffal Bear. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add a toy vendor from your hand or from your deck into your spell and trap card zone. So you immediately set it. Sorry if I'm a little rusty and I misquote a little things on this. She's the one who actually made the deck. But you can also tribute this card to add a polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. So I'm kind of doing this off of memory because it is her deck. So I will know some of the plays because she's kicked my ass with it. Oh, God. Then we play 1 copy of Fluffal Owl. When it's normal summoned, you can add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, but you can also pay 500 life points to fusion summon a Fluffal monster from your extra deck using Fluffal monsters and Imp Edge Saber monsters from your field and your hand. So, really good card. Walking polymerization. Then I play she plays 2 copies of Fluffal Sheep. If you control a Fluffal monster, you can special summon this card. Then you can return a Fluffal monster from your field to special summon 1 Edge Imp monster from your hand or graveyard. So essentially, you normal summon Dog, special summon Sheep, special summon back an Imp Edge monster from your graveyard, and then you fuse. So it lets you go for a lot more fusions. She told me that more than 2 is a little cloggy. I have studied the deck a little bit, and I agree. Then she plays 2 copies of Fluffal Cat. Cat is a really good card because if you use it as fusion material, you can target the polymerization that you fused with and re-add it to your hand. So it lets you fuse even faster. She's not playing Mouse, and I really do agree with it. Mouse can be so dead. It can explode, but it can be so dead. So dead. And with these cards recycling, she's playing the recycle engine over the engine to, I guess, explode. And this deck don't get me wrong, guys, this deck goes nuts fast. And once it does, you're pretty much out. And by the time you would get Mouse, you're dead. And it's kind of like what I've seen people say. Mouse is kind of hot shit. People want to play it because it lets you get 3 monsters on board. But at the same time, I don't like it, and neither does she. And that's just, I think I'm speaking from what she said, but she may have just said that she didn't want to pay $15 for Mouse. So, whatever. So, this is what she's playing. Then we're playing 1 copy of Fluffal Rabbit. With Fluffal Rabbit, you can target one of the monsters that you fused with besides Fluffal Rabbit and add that target back to your hand. So, polymerization, monsters, recycle. Then 2 copies of Fluffal Wing. Fluffal Wing pretty much lets you, I guess, it's a draw power card. If it's into the graveyard, if it's in your graveyard and you control Toy Vendor, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Fluffal monster in your graveyard and banish it, and if you do, draw 1 card. Then you can send the 1 Toy Vendor you control to the graveyard, and if you do, draw 1 more card. So you draw 2 cards off of banishing cards that are dead in your grave. And then with Toy Vendor, if Toy Vendor is sent to grave, you can add an Imp Edge Saber or a Fluffal monster from your hand. So it's really a +3 if you're not counting cards you're having to banish in your graveyard. Then it's +1. Because, well, really it evens out to a 0 if you're counting it that way. But really it's a +3. So Fluffal Wing, everybody. Then she's playing 2 copies of Imp Edge Saber. Imp Edge Saber, you really only need 2 with the other ones. It's great. It helps you go for Tiger, but it's not always needed compared to the next one. With 3 copies of Chain, every time Chain attacks, you can add another Chain, and it just keeps linking, if you know what I mean. You know, Chain's link. I know, corny jokes, guys. Then, when it's sent to your graveyard, you can add 1 Frightfur card from your deck, which is Frightfur Fusion. You can add that from your deck to your hand. Frightfur Fusion is the only Frightfur card she's playing in this deck that is in the main deck. Then she plays 1 copy of Edge Imp Saw. Edge Imp Saw is a draw power. It's an interesting card that I don't see a lot of people playing, but it's something interesting. I agree with it in this deck. It can help cloggy hands. When it's normal summon, you can send 1 Fluffal monster from your hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So it lets you draw 2 cards, but you go -1 by sending 1 to grave. But that can always help, because some of the cards that are your Fluffal monsters can help to be in grave. Then you can place 1 card from your hand on either the top or the bottom of your deck. So if you know you're about to hit something and you're not worried about it, then you draw it and you hit it. So it helps a lot. Then she plays 3 copies of Beast King of the Swamp, because you can discard it to add a Polymerization, and it can be a fusion substitution to get into your Sabertooth. So really great card. That's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So first off, she's playing 3 copies of Polymerization, just general fusion card. Then she's playing 2 copies of Frightfur Fusion. She said 3, I believe, was a little cloggy, but she did side the 3rd one. With Frightfur Fusion, you can banish. It's basically Miracle Fusion. You can banish Frightfur monsters or Fluffal monsters from your graveyard, or Edge Imp monsters in your graveyard, for that matter, to special summon a Frightfur Fusion. So, Miracle Fusion. Then she plays 2 copies of Dark Fusion, which I hate this, mixed with Sabertooth, because it essentially makes Sabertooth invincible. You can send cards from your hand to the graveyard, or your side of the field to the graveyard, so it's just a generic Polymerization that's listed on a Fiend monster, which all of your Frightfur cards are Fiends. And when you do special summon that monster, it cannot be targeted by effects of your opponent's spells, monsters, or trap cards. So, Sabertooth already can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Now it can't be targeted. Oh, shit. And it has 2,800 attack. Oh, shit. Then she plays 3 copies of Toy Vendor. It kind of searches. It's kind of like a Black Whirlwind in a way. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then draw 1 card. And if it was a Fluffal monster, you can special summon it. So it kind of has that same continuous spell playing into it with the Black Whirlwind. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Edge Imp monster or Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. I really wish they would have done that with Black Whirlwind. That would have been amazing. But whatever. Then she plays 2 copies of Twin Twister. She asked me to proxy these because she didn't have them and I didn't have them. So here you go, guys. Twin Twister. Breaks Pendulum Scales. And then 1 copy of Bottomless. 2 copies of Fusion Reverse. Reserve. Excuse me, Reserve. And then, I caught myself. And then 2 copies of Solemn Strike, just to kind of control the board a little bit. With the way this deck explodes, you do need minimal amount of, negation, but hey, Solemn Strike. Then, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get on into the extra deck. First off, she plays 1 copy of Frightfur Sabertooth. We only had 1 copy. I generally don't think more than 1 copy is needed, but you want to go into this with Dark Fusion if possible, because it's just crazy. It makes all your Fluffal if you fuse it with 3 or more, it gets that effect with it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and it makes itself and all of your Frightfur monsters gain 400 attack. So they really gain boosts off of him. Then 1 Frightfur Leo. It's essentially a Ring of Destruction. Then it can't attack. Frightfur Bear. If it attacks and destroys a monster, it can equip that monster to it, and it gains 1,000 attack. So kind of helps, makes a 32 beater. Can potentially be a, let me think, 72 beater if you have no back row and you continuously swing and your opponent doesn't deal with the problem. Then one Forever Wolf should have been the ultimate rare. Depending on how many cards you use to fuse with this, depends on how many times it can attack. So if you use 3 cards to fuse this, it can attack 3 times, which with Sabretooth, giving it an extra 400 makes it a 24 beater, and with Tiger, giving it 300 for each one on board that's a Forever monster. I'm thinking a 3k beater that can attack 3 times. No, that sounds painful. Then she plays 3 copies of Forever Sheep. It's an Armades, and then if it's destroyed, I believe it's if it's destroyed by battle. Let me see. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card is destroyed by a card effect in your possession, you can special summon this card back with 800 more attack points. Oh, shit. I think it's during your standby phase. Nope, anytime. Anytime it's destroyed, but you can only use this effect once per turn. Shit. I'm just learning how powerful this deck is. I've only played it actually a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, but she's kicked my ass with it so many times now that I just know. It's the damnedest thing. When you get your ass handed to you by fluffy assholes, you just know how they react. Then she plays 3 copy of Fluffal Tiger. For Tiger, depending on how many cards you use to fusion summon for Tiger, don't get me wrong, I love this card. If I'm playing it, I hate it if I'm against it. For Tiger's special effect is that it makes all your For monsters, including itself, gain 300 attack for each monster that's a For monster. So if you have 1, it goes up by 3, 2, 6, 9, 3, 12, 4, 15, 5. They can get really big, really fast. And then every monster that you use to fusion into it, it can destroy 1 card on the field. So it can essentially board wipe and then bombard you in the face at a 22 beater standard. Then if you can get another one out, it goes up to 25. So, crazy card. And that's it for the For monster. She's playing 10 in her extra deck. I had to count before I started. Then she's playing 1 Dark Rebellion, just in case. 1 Ragna 0, just in case. 101. She really doesn't go into rank 4s all that much. She doesn't really go into ranked monsters all that much. She usually kicks ass before she has to. Then 1 Castiel, just to spin stuff. And her favorite Execuside's Phantasmal is 82, so she plays 82 because it's synergy with Toy Vendor. But anyways, guys, please leave comments down below on what you think. Don't forget to check out the description below of the DarkArmedAlliance, and don't forget to join and like the Dark Armed Duelist like page. Anyways, guys, come on, give us a thumbs up for Savannah's deck profile. I think she did a really good job with this deck. I get my ass handed to me a lot by this deck. I know. I mean, I'm a good duelist and all, but when I use like my Boojins or my Blackwings or sometimes my Infernoids, she still hands it to me with this deck. But anyways, guys, this is Dark Armed Duelist, and I'm proud, Savannah, that you made this deck. And I'm out.